So after the leaf fall stage, 5% spray is recommended with urea. So that will accelerate the decomposition rate. And again, after bud break, so after the dormant break, after the breakage of dormancy of the bud, 2% spray in the buds are again used. So that will, if some buds they are unhealthy or they are infected or they are dead, it will get decomposed. So that's how the primary inculum can be reduced. So we can use different kinds of fungicides. So tridimorphs are also recommended. Mancozebs, they are also recommended in cultivation, which is very important. These resistant varieties, they are not still in our case. So I was discussing about this fungicidal spray. So this fungicidal schedule, it is adapted from a government of Himachal Pradesh. So they have been using this fungicidal spray in their region since 10 years. So by adopting this schedule, they are effectively managing the apple scab in Himachal Pradesh, one of the major apple growing area. जुन हाम्रो देशमा पनि आउने धेरै जसो एप्पल त्यहीँकै हुन्छ, इन्डियाको एप्पलहरू सबै लगभग. So one must be very well known of different stages of inflorescence in apple. So just there are several stages. There are tight cluster stage, pink stage, full pink stage, that is open cluster. There is in case of apples, there are production of spurs in each of the branches. From spurs is pink tight cluster, or green tip. Initially they are silver tip. From those spurs, some silver tips appears, then green tip, and they become theirs. Then there is formation of the leaves. Then there is formation of the buds. There is full bloom. So one must be well known of these stages, and one can follow this spray schedule. So in our context, there is no any kind of spray schedule for management of this apple scab or any kind of apple disease. So Karnali, it is recently it has been declared as an organic province, but still there's no any kind of effort to develop alternatives for management. So most of these fungicides, they are contact. Captain is contact, mancozeb is contact. Just carbendazim, it is systemic. Rest of all of them, it is contact. So that's why, so that the residue problem can be overcome in apples. So now the systemic fungicide, we have tridimorph. So if there is no any restriction, so one can go with tridimorph as well. So about crown gall of apple and stone fruits or cone fruits in pear, in walnut, in apricot, this is a common problem. So this is caused by Agrobacterium tumefaciens. तपाईले कुनै कोर्समा जेनेटिक्सको कुनै कोर्समा Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it is in natural genetic engineer भनेर पढ्नु भयो होला. It is widely utilized for transformation, Agrobacterium mediated transformation for creation of transgenics. So this bacteria, it is useful, at the same time it is plant pathogenic. So you know about TI plasmid. So Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it has tumor inducing plasmid, or extra chromosomal double stranded DNA, which has opine producing genes. Opines are chemicals that can induce tumors in the host cell. So some in case of crown gall of apple, some kind of overgrowths ranging from small to large, they are seen either on the root or near the crown region. They may be of different shapes, they may be twisted, they may be smooth. So generally, initially they are white. So this problem is generally reported from the eastern hills. In Tapezung area from pear, in case of apricot, it is reported. Apple ko ke त्यति चाहिँ रिपोर्टहरु छैनन् in case of Nepal. So Symptoms, they are very clear. So generally some kind of overgrowths or outgrowths. They may be of different shape, size. They may be smooth. They may be twisted, that is convoluted. So they become dark in color with secondary invasion of some secondary plant pathogens. So they may crumble, they may be macerated, they may get hard when they are dehydrated, they may look knotty. So about this bacteria, it is very persistent in the soil. So under normal condition, in temperate regions, so it can generally survive from 1 to 4 years once established into the soil. So bacteria, they do not produce any kind of resting uh, spore, especially gram-negative bacteria. So the bacteria itself, it is the inoculum, source of so the source of inoculum, it is rendered by the infected plant parts or infected root residues or infected crown region. So in case of apple, so just again हामीले चाहिँ पेपरी बारको कुरा गरेको थियौँ. So just in that, like that case, so if these crown gulls, they are scraped off, and if they are applied with Bodex paste, so copper fungicide, they also have antibacterial activity. Or one can go with Zovitia paste, which are very popular in temperate fruits. Horticulture में तपाईँले पक्कै पनि पढ्नु होला, use of Zovitia paste and Bodex paint. So those should be used for managing. So generally, temperature ranging from 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, it is very conducive for development. And below this temperature, disease development is generally very, very slow. So mostly it is favored by alkaline soils, poorly drained soils, जहाँ the water stagnation को problem छ, जहाँको soil एकदम wet छ. So about management, so crop rotation is one of the options. So generally, if some orchard uh, is sick with agrobacterium, as an intercropping in alley, say corn or cereal cropping is recommended. And तपाईँलाई थाहा छ एमेट rootstock, हैन, apple को. So generally एमेट rootstocks, they are used. They are resistant, more or less resistant to this crown gall. So generally, chemical management, it is not effective, because uh, so in case antibiotic use of antibiotics in the root region, it can be toxic. Antibiotics are toxic to the root region. Direct application of antibiotics, it can cause some ill effects. Antibiotics and ranging barrier. So copper oxychloride is one of the option at the rate of again 0.3%. Bodex paste, जहाँ चाहिँ infected छ त्यहाँ scrap गरेर चाहिँ Bodex paint अथवा Zovitia paste we can apply. So one of the there's Agrobacterium radiobacter, particularly K84. So in many European countries, so this strain is being used for managing crown gall of apple. So recently again, this Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it has developed resistance against this Agrobacterium radiobacter. It produces an antibiotic that is known as Agrocin 84. So with continuous use of this biocontrol agent, Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it has developed resistance against Agrobacterium radiobacter. So nowadays, uh, there's a new strain, that's K1026, that is being used, or this K84 strain, it is being replaced by the use of K1026 strain of radiobacter, Agrobacterium radiobacter. So next, apple disease is powdery mildew of apple. So again, the powdery mildew of apple, it is more severe in dry conditions. In Malayan region, this is seen abundantly. This is caused by Porosphaera leucophyta. The anamorphic state is Idiom farinosum. So powdery mildew, the symptom, you know about powdery mildew, symptoms of powdery mildew. Its symptom can appear on the leaves, on only a powdery mildew causing fungus that is capable of infecting without any leaf wetness. It does not require any kind of leaf wetness, or even in very low humidity. At even at 0% humidity, it can germinate. So simply removal of infected birds and twigs, management ma यसको धेरै त्यति problematic छैन. It is very easy to manage. So generally, Dinocap or Thinomethate is recommended for managing this powdery mildew. So next, very important disease is fire blight of apple. So it is caused by Erwinia amylovora. So about this disease, there are several phases. There are leaf blight phase, there are blossom blight and spur phase. There may be stem cankers. So in all of the cases, some kind of water-soaked lesions are seen, and all the infected plant parts, they get converted into or they get darkened, or they get converted into brownish to black in color. So one of the very major symptom of fire blight of apple is generally the tip of the infected tree or the infected shoot. So if you observe the shoot here, so it looks wilted and it forms some inverted J-like shape. So this is known as Shepherd crook. सो सेफर्ड क्रुक भनेको चाहिँ सेफर्डले एउटा चाहिँ हुक जस्तो कुरा युज गर्छ होइन. सो जस्ट लाइक द्याट it is inverted J shape. So in tip, this is one of the very diagnostic symptom. This is also Shepherd Crook symptom. So infected tip of the infected shoots, they rapidly wilt. Again, the leaves associated with this, they will get water soaked, they will shrivel, they will get burnt, they will get burnt like effect, and this kind of symptom is typically seen, which is known as Shepherd Crook. And if there is humid condition, there may be development of ooze. So this is blossom and spur blight phase. So you know about spur. Normally horticulture what is spur in the apple? It is some kind of small thorn-like shoot that develops on the branch uniformly. जहाँबाट चाहिँ floral buds they originate. So birds also may be infected. So generally infections when they occur in the floral parts or blossoms, this bacteria enters to necrothores. So they typically enter into the floral organs through necrothores. In this also blossoms, they are turned, they are water soaked, they become brown, everything appears burnt with fire-like appearance. So spurs ultimately they are blighted, and sometimes there may be appearance of the ooze. So on the apple shoots or on the miniature fruits, there may be appearance of whitish ooze or bacterial growth. That is, ooze or bacterial growth or ooze droplets of creamy white bacteria. So this is shoot. We have already discussed about this. So this is again Shepherd Crooks. So in this case, the tip is wilted, and this is typically inverted J shape, which is known as Shepherd Crooks or upside down J shape. So if conditions they are humid, it may have ooze droplets, or if it is dry, it may not have. This is just a photograph showing the tree that is infected with fire blight. So again, it has stem canker phase. So it again can cause stem cankers, numerous stem cankers. But when the barks are infected, there's the production of some kind of darkened depressions, distinct cankers which are very dark brown. And generally, the sapwood or wood below the cankers, they are reddish brown in appearance, or there may be oozing of the bacterial cells. But they are very different from peppery bark. In case of peppery bark, the bark they are very peppery, or they naturally get they are naturally they get peeled off without any mechanical agent. But in this case, such kind of peeling effect is not seen. So it may also occur on the, it may cause stem cankers on the stem. It can girdle the main branches. It can cause dieback phase.